Buongiorno everyone, welcome back to lineup predictions. Game's coming thick and fast now, barely any time to settle after the win against Sheffield United. We go in tomorrow night against Aston Villa, sitting 19th in the Premier League. Should be a great opportunity to pick up another 3 points and take us past that magic 40-point mark. Looking at Aston Villa there, I've just seen that they've only won one game at St James's Park in the last 20 years, and that was 15 years ago. So we've got a great record against them, and Villa's away record this season. Obviously, as I say, they're sitting 19th in the Premier League, pretty sure to get relegated. They've got 2 away wins in the Premier League all season, conceding 32 in 15. They've got no clean sheets, and that's the worst in the Premier League. They did beat us at their place back in November. We're on a good run now. We're unbeaten since before lockdown, since about March, I think it is. Since the Crystal Palace game, which was another one of the worst. It was Arsenal and Crystal Palace, 2 consecutive games, 2 more of the shittest performances from us this season. But since then, since Brucey's changed the formation, Brucey's lockdown mags have gone on an unbelievable run. After beating, we started with a draw against Burnley, went on to beat West Brom and Southampton. Then during lockdown, the friendlies were 1 games against Hull and Middlesbrough, and come back on Sunday with a fantastic 3-0 win over 6th in the league, Sheffield United. So I'm full of confidence going to this. I think if we would take at least a point, I'd take it. We're expecting possibly some changes. Brucey did mention that in the press conference, as I'll get to. But as I said before, these games coming thick and fast, muy rapido. A big FA Cup game on Sunday coming against Man City. We've got to take that very, very seriously, as I'm sure Bruce will. He's been putting out his strongest team all season to the best he can. Even in the FA Cup games, people expected maybe to see some youngsters come in the FA Cup games against Rochdale and Oxford. But he didn't do that, took it as serious as possible, wanted to go out and get them wins, and I think he'll do the same in the league for the most part. He did mention in his press conference that changes are something we'll look at. Whether it's right or not for tomorrow, we'll see. It's about getting the balance right. You can't expect the same 11 players to play 10 games over this period of time, which is completely understandable. I agree. But I do still think he'll play the best team that he's got available, also with one eye looking on to Sunday. So my prediction is going to be a bit of balance. He's going to play his strongest team possible where he can, and also slight changes. Keeping in mind that we've got 5 substitutes to make as well, I think that could be very, very important. I think you'll go strong. You'll go for the win, I believe. And hopefully we can try and maybe go 1-0 up into half time, get a second early on in the second half, then we should be comfortable, make some changes. Not too late on Sunday, we made some very late changes. As I say, 5 available now. Didn't make the first one until the 79th minute. Made 2 in the 79th, 2 in the 85th, and the final one in the 92nd. We were comfortable. That could have been changes earlier, but I think this game, now we've got the first game under our belt, going to the second game with big games coming up. More teams in the relegation zone after this game in the Premier League. We've got Bournemouth and West Ham to play. So I do expect to see a little bit of rotation. In terms of the injury front, Matty's back in training now. He's come through okay, done well in training, but give them a few more days. Says Brucey, also regarding Sean, who's not quite right. He's got a slight niggle. So neither of the Longstaffs will be in contention, but will be there soon. Maybe available for the Man City game, likely Bournemouth next Wednesday. Kieran Clark has had an operation on his ankle, so is still sore and won't be joining in at the minute. And Lejeune is back on the grass. I think that's Brucey's favourite quote. I don't think I've ever heard a manager even use that term, but the amount of times I've heard Brucey say, back on the grass this season. It's mad. So yeah, Lejeune's back on the grass in training, so still not available for this game. He did say 1 or 2 are sore from Sunday, but he didn't specify who. As expected, rotation likely to come with one eye on Sunday. I'd be interested to know exactly who it is, because that would make my job a hell of a lot easier. We'll see how they are, he says. So, Into my lineup there then, we're going to stick Martin Dubravka in goal. Of course, we're number 1 in the Premier League. Doubt he'll be tired. Had 1 shot on target against them on Sunday. Light work. Easy job. And also, if you think about the FA Cup, Darlow's started most of the games in the FA Cup this season, so that might be something Brucey's looking at. I think against a big team like Man City, and they'll probably be taking it seriously. They've got a hell of a squad, as you've seen the other night in their win against Burnley. They've got some crazy depth. Their bench, the 9 on the bench alone could beat most teams in the Premier League. Jesus Christ. So that could be something to look into. Perhaps Darlow might get the nod on Sunday, but we need Dubravka to start in the league, no doubt about it. At right back then, Javier Manquillo was incredible the other day, but he's one that I would perhaps like to change. We've got 3 there. We've got 3 we've got 3 decent right backs, all challenging for a spot. At the minute, Manquillo's number 1. I think he's earned that, and you've seen on Sunday exactly what Javier Manquillo can do. I thought he was fantastic, but I would rotate him for this game and give DeAndre Yedlin a shot. He's been knocking at the door. He had an interview the other day with Sky. I don't think he's really happy in the team at the minute. I think he's quite happy to fight for his spot, but if he can't get a starting spot by the end of the season, he might be looking to get himself away from the club, get himself a team where he can play more regularly. But he has to prove it because he's been a bit inconsistent, Yedlin. I do like Yedlin. I'm a fan, but it's just sometimes defensively, he can be a little bit of a liability. Other days he can be great. I can think back to the game away against Chelsea where he threw himself on the line and made a fantastic goal line clearance. But on the other hand, the game at home against Crystal Palace at the end of last season where he pulled down Wilfred Zaha, which is a criminal offence. You've got to be so careful against people like Wilfred Zaha. That kind of stuff's going to happen, and he got himself exposed and ended up taking him down, conceding a penalty. Other than that, we could have Emil Kraft. So it's a 3-way switch there. Do we keep Manquillo? Do we rotate and give Yedlin or Kraft a shot? For me, I would stick with DeAndre Yedlin. In a centre-back, to partner Captain Jamal Lascelles, I will keep him in there. His partner for the last few games in the Premier League, who has formed a fantastic bond with, Federico Fernandez. Rotate. Fabian Schär, he's been waiting in the wings. Stick him in. Lascelles and Fernandez can pick up where they left off in the FA Cup. The last cup game against West Brom, we did see Lascelles and Schär for about 70 minutes. They were fantastic together. Then ended up conceding 2 late goals and gave Wilson a little bit of a squeaky bum towards the end. We all know how good Schär can be. He's a fantastic defender. He's probably is our best defender on paper. But I think while the dynamic between Lascelles and Fernandez is going, I'd say keep that for what bigger games. Schär can obviously come in and do a good job against 19th place Aston Villa. Come on. So they're who I would choose. Give Fernandez a rest and give Schär a shot. Why not? Fullback Danny Rose, who I will just mention briefly. I do think I was a little bit harsh on him in player ratings on Sunday. I rated him a 5. I think the points that I made are still valid if you've seen that video. If not, go ahead and check it out. Yeah, I'll take that back and update it to a 6. I'll change that, give him a 6. I do think he had a good game. He was still a little bit sloppy. It's first game back after 3 months. It can be expected. I know the spotlight was on him a little bit because people were saying how unfit he looked coming back after lockdown. Looked like he'd put a little bit of weight on. And in the first half, he was a little bit sloppy. Did make a couple of sloppy passes. Missed out on a couple of tackles that he could make. But second, I think I was basing my judgment off his first half performance, forgetting in the second half he actually got into the game. The longer the game went on, he did get better. And in terms of who could cover him for rotation, that isn't anybody really. There's Matt Ritchie, or that's basically it. You could put Manquillo on the left, perhaps. Dummett's not available at the minute. So other than that, we're out of options at left back. So we might have to just try and get the most out of Danny Rose as we can, but hopefully he doesn't pull up with an injury like Jetro Willems did over the festive period. I said in the video last week, Willems was a ticking time bomb. That injury was coming a long way off. So we need to be careful with Danny Rose. Maybe one game sooner or later, put Manquillo on the left and bring Yedlin or Kraft in. maybe give Richie a shot there. I don't know, but stick with Danny Rose. Try and keep his momentum going. Into midfield, I will put Jonjo Shelvey back in to start. Look at bringing him off in the second half, though. I think if like I mentioned before, if we can just go in and just try and get a good lead after about an hour, make the substitutions earlier, after about an hour, hopefully be a goal or two up by then start making some changes, bringing off some of the big boys like Shelvey, a key player. He should have a great game against Man City on Sunday. He scored the equaliser at St James's Park in the league earlier this season. But I think against Aston Villa, Shelvey will have a great game, as he has done previously in the games we've seen against Sheffield United and Aston Villa. They're the kind of games he can step up in. So I'll put Shelvey back in to start and not give him 90 minutes, hopefully. Alongside him, I will start Nabil Bentaleb. I did put him in my lineup prediction on Friday for the Sunday's game against Sheffield United, thinking that Brucey might have favoured him over Hayden. Thank God he didn't, because Hayden, outstanding. I've been a fan of Isaac Hayden for a good year now. Like, he's so underrated. I think he goes under people's radar. People don't actually know how good he is. And it's quite frustrating, but also kind of a good thing because it keeps the big boys off. Don't want Isaac Hayden going anywhere. We don't want everyone finding out about him. So I keep him out, start him next on Sunday. Give Bentaleb a shot. Like I say, it's Aston Villa. They're 19th in the league. Shouldn't cause too much of a problem. Bentaleb's all right. I've got no problem putting Bentaleb in. And of course, as I said, Matty and Sean still aren't right, so he's the only other centre-mid option, with the exception perhaps of Jack Young, but I wouldn't really be sticking any of the youngsters in. Tom Allen and Kel Watts are available to come in, but we need to still take this seriously. And I know I'm saying look at one eye on Sunday, but it's still a huge game. Like, we still need to get at least 3 points out of the next couple of weeks. As I said before, I would take a point, but we still need to try and come in strong, the best we can. On the right-hand side, I'll go on to another one who I put in my lineup prediction the other day, which I was wrong about, was Valentino Lazaro to start on the right-hand side. Obviously, Maxi got the start on the right with Matt Ritchie on the left. That's the one change I will make. Put Sir Maximin on the left and give Ritchie a bit of a rest. He was a doubt going into the game the other day. That was kind of why I made that decision. I put Ritchie on my bench kind of half-heartedly. Brucey said he should be okay. I didn't expect him to start. Should be okay doesn't mean I'm going to fucking bang him in for 90 minutes. So Lazaro, for me, we haven't really seen the best out of him yet. He seems like the kind of player that I would like to make permanent. He's only on loan still. We've got that loan extended until the end of the season. But where that goes afterwards, I don't know. I'm sure Inter Milan were quoting with about 19, 20 million to sign him at the end of the season. But he looks like a good player. And I like him in the squad. He's very versatile, can play right or left, on the wing in midfield or at wing back. So I would like to keep Lazaro around, but we haven't seen much of him. When he first came in, he played his first 2 games at right full-back, which I don't think is his best position. That was against Arsenal and Crystal Palace, which of course he got caught out and got himself sent off. So he was suspended for the Burnley game. Then we finally got to see him in his right role at West Brom away in the Cup, which was fantastic. Scored the third and crucial goal. Came on as a late sub away against Southampton, and came on as a late sub against Sheffield United on Sunday. So I want to see Lazaro in the Premier League on the right mid, see what he can do. Show that he's worth the money, worth making a permanent signing for, because at the minute, I wouldn't bother. Like, we haven't really seen enough of him. Maybe the staff have seen enough of him behind the scenes, I don't know, but I want to see it for myself in the Premier League, not against Championship opposition like West Brom. And in terms of Sir Maximin, same as I said before again about Shelvey, he's a key player. Everything comes through him. He was on man of the match the other day, big 10 in player ratings. I want to see him start the game lively, hopefully take a lead into half time, try and get that second after the break, and then once that's done, get him off, put Ritchie or whoever on, just rotate St Maximin. Don't want to wear him out too much. I don't want to see him play 90 minutes. Hopefully the game will be over and done with by then, so we can get him off. And the same will go for Almiron. I'll stick him in number 10 because I don't think there's anyone else that can really take that spot. There's no real great number 10s in the squad at the minute for me. One of the Longstaffs could play there if fit. I would like to see one of them given an opportunity there, but as I say, they're not fit. So unless we give it to Gale or Muto, I don't know. But as I say, same for Shelvey and St Maximin. Start him, help him get that momentum going forward, get the lead, then take him off. Save his legs for Sunday. And same could be said again about Joelinton. He's in good form at the minute. I wouldn't take him out. Don't put him on the bench. Get another goal. We need that at home again. Finally got his first home goal in the league. Second Premier League goal. First one, and I just read how long it was since the Tottenham game. I don't know, about 7 months, something mad like that. So yeah, he's on a good run of form at the minute. Got a few goals in pre-season. He's looking sharp without the crowd on his back. Like we mentioned in the video the other day, that if there was a crowd on his back after that first half miss, I think he would have gone into a hole. You wouldn't have seen the performance that he pulled out in the second half. He done brilliantly for his goal. I know a lot of his haters are still like, well, he just tapped it in off the line. Not really. It was the work in the build-up. He created that goal for himself. He done well getting the ball out to Almiron on the left, and he charged down the middle, ran straight into the 6-yard box, which we haven't seen him do much. He doesn't really get into that hole where he needs to be. So he's finally learning. And with the goal, with his first home goal, you see what it meant to him. He's pounding the ground. Like, I'm over the moon for him. So try and keep that momentum going. Start Joelinton. Hopefully he can get another goal. And if he can, great, get him off. Make some more changes. We had 3 subs on the bench the other day in terms of strikers. I don't really know if we need 3 strikers on the bench, but so be it. So there's my starting 11. A few changes there. Yeah, subs are going to be crucial, so I'm going to run through my bench now. Carl Darlow, of course, Javier Manquillo and Emil Kraft. Federico Fernandez replacing Shaw on the bench. Isaac Hayden in place of Bentaleb. Matt Ritchie to come in. And the 3 strikers, Gale, Muto and Carroll. There was no Christian Atsu on the bench the other day. I'm not really sure where he is. There was no mention of him in Brucey in either of the last 2 press conferences. Don't really know if he's got much of a future at the club. But there's rotation in there. Like Muto can play out wide or in number 10. Probably same as Gale. Ritchie on the wing or as a fullback. Hayden, I would only really bring on, waste that substitution late on if the game's not going as well, if we need that central defensive rock, particularly for Shelvey as he's the only centre mid there. So there's my lineup there then. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching everyone. Like this video and don't forget to subscribe and enjoy yourself.